Hello everyone, welcome again. In this video, I'm going to try to explain the concept of Mgtow to Caribbean men. Hope you enjoy. And let me say first that this video is geared towards men, but women are welcome to watch. So the term Mgtow has been around for a while now, and like many movements and concepts out there, this area is always misinterpreted. But before I get into anything, let's talk about the female of our species, and that's women. Since the creation of humans or evolution, whichever you believe, women have been protected by men, and for good reason. Women are understandably weaker and more vulnerable than men. Men were naturally competent to deal with the harsh lifestyle early humans had to endure. Around this time, both men and women worked sun up till sundown, but men were naturally stronger, so they had a greater range of jobs they were able to perform with minimal consequences. This was not the case for women. Their talents were mostly limited because of their obvious vulnerabilities. Neither male nor female complained about this arrangement. Men led, women followed. A man's duty was to his family, and a woman's duty was to her husband. This doctrine was solidified by religious and traditional beliefs. Fast forward to early modern times. Most of the dangers that face humanity has long gone away, or have been contained because of the advances in technology, improvement in the legal system, medicine, and the manufacturing industry. Jobs and working on the whole have become easier, and as a result, more and more women joined the workforce. Though they were educated, it was still uncommon to see a woman working in any labor-induced job. It was normal for a woman to work a job up until the time she got married. Then it was up to the man to provide and to protect her and whatever family they had come along. The role of the woman was still seen more as of a homemaker. This was back when couples actually meant their wedding vows. When they said, "till death do us part," they actually meant it. This system, however, I'll have to admit, though it did work for a lot of people, was not perfect. Both men and women ended up in relationships that made them very unhappy. But society at the time, still ruled predominantly by men, created legislations protecting women even more, because it was expected that men look after women. Women still wanted more. They saw the job market as unfair and went about changing it the only way they knew how, complaining. Totally ignoring the fact that most jobs at the time were not suited and able to incorporate women. I could understand if raising the future leaders of the world might not be fulfilling enough for some women, but they acted like men go off every morning to a spa, where they are hand-fed fruits and drink wine and write poems, and come home every evening, earnest and fulfilled. Needless to say, businesses both private and public were ordered by law to employ women. They fitted in nicely in some jobs. I'll have to admit, women are a tremendous asset to the workforce in certain fields, but others were an obvious struggle. They solved this problem by having the men take up the slack. So if you're a male working on a job with a female, you most likely have to complete your job and help with hers. I can feel some of you rolling your eyes whilst watching this, but ask any man that works in an organization where they are women, and they will tell you how right I am. I work for a company where the female manager wanted the men to work harder locations and later shifts, all in an effort to make the female workers there more comfortable, which I might add went against the contract they signed upon getting the job. The women there had a couple of excuses, like they had children. Well, so did most of the men, but the one they used most was that they were women. When I objected, I was victimized. Not only by management, but by both male and female workers at the job. Women get pampered on and off their jobs. They are segregated and looked after by different bodies of society. But after all this, they still wanted more. Then came feminism. Feminism made it worse for both men and women. They claimed women were being treated unfairly and demanded rights they already had. They went on about this the only way they knew how, by complaining. They even started a false propaganda campaign against men that was counterintuitive and non-factual. But feminists don't need facts, just sympathy. The target placed on men's back by society became a whole lot bigger. Men were the victims but were viewed as aggressors. Women's quest for equality was unquenchable. They took and took and took until we had nothing left to give. Men fell a couple places on the leaderboard. At first place, we have children. No arguments there. The well-being of children should always be any country's top priority. Second place, we have women. On the same level as the LGBT community. The laws on this group of people are a little bit confusing, but that's a discussion for another time. Third place, we have animals. Animals rank third. Fourth, we have trees and plant life. At fifth place, we have dog crap. And then, all the way to the bottom, we have men. They didn't even bother to place them. Even if they were to find life on other planets in the form of bacteria, that bacteria will still rank higher than men on the leaderboard. Men give so much and get so little in return. One major thing feminists tried to do was to have women compete against men, rather than complete them. Men and women are two different creatures. It's like comparing an eagle with a penguin. Two both amazing beings, respected but very different. Instead, they match men against women, say it's a free and fair fight, and then tie men hands and feet and blindfold them. And I guess that's their definition of fair. Women say they want equality, but they just want control. Companies are forced to employ women even if they are not capable of performing their duties. Anything outside of pushing a pencil holding, most women are overwhelmed. How many female police officers you know could outperform male officers on the job? If you are being attacked and you call the police, how much better you will feel if a male officer appears rather than a female? When SWAT is clearing a building of terrorists, how many female officers do you see out there in the ranks? How many female officers, or how many female fire officers you know can pull an adult unconscious body out of a burning building, but by law they are paid the same as those who risk their lives and do all the heavy lifting. Human beings have reached the 21st century, and here in the Caribbean, men are being eradicated through gang violence, drug overdose, and suicide. Whoever remains gets thrown in prison, and our children are being raised by women. I am sure we all could agree children should be raised by both their mother and their father, but that's not the case, and it's tragic. We inherit all our parents' troubles, and our children fall in the same trap. Let's focus on young boys, and I'm talking from experience. We are forced to become men at a very young age, and all the bullshit norms are forced on us by society, like boys are strong, boys don't cry, complaining means you're weak. So most boys grow into men with this mentality and bottle all life's problems until it manifests into addiction, depression, or until they give up and just decide to end it all. Men are always expected to be society's definition of a man, even if it leads to their destruction. Men are still expected to pay for themselves and their partners when they go on dates. Men and women are equal, but if you hit a woman, even in self-defense, you will be arrested. Even if you didn't hit her, but she says you did, you will still get arrested. The process of investigating the matter before charges are filed against you can't get in the way of society defending women. We were taught to protect and defend women, but who looks out for us? That brings me to Mgtow. It stands for Men Going Their Own Way. Now, a lot of people have misconceptions about Mgtow. They think it's men giving up women entirely and turning celibate, but that's far from correct. It's men going whichever way they choose, not being society's definition of a man, which in these days are just victims. Most importantly, they try to help men understand men's vulnerability in society and adjust to suit. What made this movement so powerful is the system of education and mentoring provided by these men / Mgtow, via books or online blogs or more popular YouTube videos. This system is dubbed Mgtow University, and it helps men in ways you cannot fathom. But first, you have to make a choice: red pill or blue pill. Obviously, this is a reference from the Matrix. Taking the blue pill means you go about your life knowing what you know about the war that is being waged against men and do absolutely nothing about it. Living as a blue pill will have you either very depressed or suicidal. These men are unhappily married, and when they do summon the balls to get a divorce, they get raped in court and spend years paying child support and alimony, while still paying a mortgage to a house they are not welcomed in. These men allow themselves to be abused and defeated by obstacles in life until they go crazy, even bitter, or until they decide to kill themselves. Now, being a red pill isn't an instant transformation. It's a daily ascension into perfection. Being a red pill is not the opposite of being a blue pill. It has to do more with self-development and being strong enough as an individual to conquer life's challenges as they come along. Because we know the only thing on this planet you really have control over is your own choices. In other words, yourself. Red pill men are also called alpha males. You know the type: successful, educated, witty, great physical physique, and great with the ladies. Even if you never heard about Mgtow, every man at some point has to realize that there's an imbalance between male and female. And most men are powerless to do anything about it. Men these days are like street performers. They try their best to impress a female passerby. If they are successful, she gives them a reward. In other words, sex. It's this thinking, it's this way of thinking that has a lot of men conquered by the system. Relationships / marriages these days are only beneficial to women. Do your research. The contract just protects women and children in case she gets bored of you and divorces you for someone that has more money. They even made laws stating you don't even have to be married for her to take half of your stuff. Once she lives under the same roof with you for a couple of years, she's legally your wife. And in Caribbean countries like Trinidad and Tobago, there are no such things as prenuptial laws. I know wealthy men that got divorced and are now renting and still paying a mortgage with alimony and child support, of course. All the compassion goes towards the female. Just keep in mind, men get abused in relationships also, verbally and physically, from women. Women hit more, but men, being naturally stronger, do more damage when they hit. This is common knowledge, but growing up, I was taught never to put your hands on a woman for any reason. We've all heard this at some point from our elders. But shouldn't they have said, don't put your hands on anyone, male or female, young or old, black or white? Either way, people don't really want an explanation. To put your hands on a woman, you are demonized, even if it's in self-defense. I'm reminded of something a friend told me. He said, if a girl spits on a man for whatever reason, maybe they had an argument or fallen out, if he spits on her in retaliation, he is Satan and will be punished. If he walks away, then he's a punk. You just can't win with women. But who do you suppose complains mostly about gender inequality? Women. Complaining is what they do, and they are very good at it. I don't expect all men to agree with me on this Mgtow nonsense, but I can tell you from experience, the movement has helped out myself and millions of men by means of the Mgtow University, so to speak. They do their best to explain female nature among other things. It's a forum for men of all different walks of life to come together and strengthen each other through the so-called university. I've learned a lot from these men, young and old, through their wisdom they have attained, mostly through their experiences. Anything you need to know as a man, you'll find it through Mgtow, from dating advice, fashion tips, business advice. Even if you just need a platform to vent your frustration from a failed marriage or a crappy job, because remember, society doesn't care about men. Men are expected to go through life and face both good and bad, but keep their feelings to themselves. Not everyone has money for counseling. I'll leave a link to some popular Mgtow channels. Give it a chance to soak in. You'll be surprised at the amount of quality content you'll find. There are videos on almost every scenario possible. A whole boss, there's a video. Thinking about dating a co-worker, there's a video. You wonder why you're always getting cheated on? There's a video. Get rid of that macho man thinking that a man stands on his own and don't need help or advice from anyone. All men, rich or poor, strong or weak, are overwhelmed by life struggles at some point in their lives. And most of them are never able to pull themselves out of it. Always remember, men are the pillars of society. Men are the head of the household. It's men that raise strong men. There is no room for failure or mistakes. We have to be on top of our game every minute of every day. Thanks for watching.